pool, yes sir. Another 9 medals for Team Isle of Man on Wednesday in Gibraltar as the Manx swimmers continue to feature on that podium. 19 of our 44 medals so far have come courtesy of Lee Holland and his superb band of athletes. We'll hear from some of those very stars who've created many amazing memories already, with one more day of swimming still to come on Thursday. Welcome along to episode 5 of the 2019 Island Games review with myself, Chris Cave. Firstly, I'd like to apologise for my sniffly vibes yesterday. I think it may have had something to do with me being stuck up on the top of the incredibly windy Rock of Gibraltar for the time trial. I hope it's not as bad tonight, and although I hold no medical qualifications whatsoever, I am confident you can't catch a cold listening to a podcast. Could be wrong though, I usually am. Anyway, we begin tonight by focusing on a sport which is often billed as unfashionable, despite proving to be a source of success for many Manxies over the years. Shooting has seen some high-profile names from the island travel all over the world, putting their names in the history books. None other than Tim Neal, who won a silver medal at the Commonwealth Games in Australia 12 months ago, was named Sportsman of the Year on the back of his achievements, and here we are in 2019, and the shooters are at it once again. Alan Wade and Mark Riley received gold medals and a weird dolphin-type cuddly toy thing. It's the mascot for the Island Games this year, after they took the honours in the automatic ball trap event earlier this week. And if you heard their interview, you'll know just what it meant to them. They were so proud of their efforts and of each other for what they'd done, and are passionate about competing under the Manx flag. It's a common theme when you speak to these athletes. We also heard news of another medal in the sport on Tuesday, in the way of a team bronze for father and son pairing Nathan and Josh Holden. Their discipline was the ISSF 10-metre air pistol, and they scored a combined total of 1,090, pipping Gotland to a third-place finish. Now, I think this is a brilliant story, not least because of the medal success, but also because of their family ties. Speaking to Nathan, he's clearly a man who loves his sport to bits, probably more so than most things in the world, with the one obvious exception of his family. And he managed to combine the two, representing his homeland and doing so alongside his boy. I had the pleasure of watching him compete earlier today in the 25-metre standard pistol event before I caught up with both he and son Josh. Josh, too, at just 14 years old, is really articulate, and it was a pleasure hearing their Island Games story, certainly one they won't forget in a hurry, and it was especially nice seeing the bond they shared and their pride. Now, you can't see the way Nathan looks at Josh when he tells him he's done really well at the end of this interview, but it did pull on the heartstrings for me a little bit. If you want to see it, you can do so by watching the video of this interview on the Manx Radio Facebook page. But for now, have a listen to a story that has only been made available through this brilliant sporting event.
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible. You know, having my son as my teammate and actually being able to sort of get up there on the podium with him was, yeah, it was really special. So it was.
What about you, Josh? Sometimes I think if you're of a young age, your dad can get on your nerves a bit if he's giving you a bit of advice and you don't want to listen to him. Was that the case for you, or do you have full trust in him?
Yeah, so sometimes it does get like that, but most of the time I listen, and yeah, it was just like you said, it was really amazing getting up there, getting a medal in my first games. It's really good.
How does this differ for you from shooting in the Isle of Man, a competition of this magnitude, when you get the words attention and you're close to shooting? What's going through your mind?
All sorts, just the basics really. Where to aim, how to pull the trigger, and then you've also got all the sort of do's and don'ts in your head, and then what can go wrong as well. So yeah.
And how did you find Josh did here in Gibraltar? Obviously with a bronze medal, you can't be too disappointed with that, but do you think on the whole he's coped with the whole situation very, very well?
Yeah, he's done brilliantly. He yesterday when we won the bronze, he set a personal best, and in that match as well, he actually accidentally shot a 2. And I think, if I shot a 2 in a match, I would lose the plot, completely. But he just, it was like it didn't happen. He just carried on and he put in a string of really good shots. And like I say, he managed to, pull out a competition PB. And of course, in the end, it was a close thing in the medals, for sort of second, third, and fourth. And we did enough. We were, only one off in the end of silver. Yeah. So it was, it was really good. I was really proud of him.
3 medals for shooting thus far in the Island Games. Why do you think the Isle of Man has such a fantastic reputation and history of shooting, which you're continuing here in Gibraltar?
It's a tough question, really, because I think it's just one of the sports that people sort of find, and if you get hooked on it, you really do. You just want them to be down the range. You're wanting to train. I don't know. It just really has a drive, and I love it. I love shooting. You know, that's all I want to do in an evening or whatever is just hit the range if I can.
It's often described as one of the less fashionable sports. Obviously, you've got your football and your rugby, which are the mainstream, I suppose. You've obviously come into it and won a bronze medal. What inspired you to get involved in shooting? Was it just that your dad was doing it, or was it the fact that the Isle of Man has such great success and it's a platform for you to go on and make a name for yourself and win medals at events such as this?
Yeah, it was mainly that my dad had been doing it for a few years. My mum had also done it when she was younger, so it was in the family. To be honest, I didn't really know it existed. I didn't know the Isle of Man was good at it, so yeah, it was with the family.
And the experience as a whole, not just when you've been in competition, but how have you found Gibraltar, both of you?
Amazing, yeah, it's a really nice place. Very, very, yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, the weather's obviously been fantastic. I mean, the only overcast day, of course, we had was on the opening ceremony day, and every other day has just been, phenomenal. And we've done quite a few of the sightseeing things, haven't we?
Yeah, been up the rock.
So we had to even push the car up.
Yeah,
that was heavy.
The day before a competition.
We probably shouldn't have done that, really, but it worked out in the end.
I hope you didn't have any gun on you, because one of the macaques might have pinched that. But you mentioned the conditions there on the opening ceremony. It was quite blustery. Do you feel the wind here on the pistol range, or is it more sheltered?
No, the facilities here are just phenomenal. You don't notice the wind. I think obviously down, the clay guys, they're on the coast. They've seen the wind a bit more than us, but more affected. But to be honest, if we did ever get wind, it's just more like home, really.
Yeah,
it's not necessarily a disadvantage.
No,
I suppose you're more used to it. Do you both have ambitions to represent the Isle of Man once again in the next games in Guernsey in 2 years' time?
100%, yes.
Yeah.
And how do you go about earning selection for that? Because I suppose it is quite competitive, because as we've mentioned that there are a lot of shooters on the Isle of Man.
There's it is. I think it's certainly on the air side. We're starting to grow it again, which is nice. We're starting to get some more juniors in the sport, which is important for the sort of longevity of the whole thing. And we just have a selection process, really. Especially it's different disciplines: pistol, clay, full bore, small bore. They all have their own sort of selection criteria. But you just got to prove yourself in the club competitions more than anything. And in terms of the air pistol, we travel a lot to the UK for competitions and things. We do the Welsh Open, British Open, the Scottish, and those scores and the experience, that really helps.
And I've been asking everyone this who's won a medal, what's it like there standing on a podium with a medal around your neck for your country?
There's nothing better. There's no better feeling. That's ultimately what we came here to do, and to be able to do that.
Yeah.
It's just great.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It makes the whole thing worth it. It really does.
There aren't really words for it. Getting up there with the medal, just no words.
And not many people your age can say that they have stood on a podium representing the Isle of Man and won a medal.
No, I know of one, but other than that, no.
Well, you did really well.
I love it, lads. I hope you're telling this story for years and years to come, because it's unique. Very rare that a father and son compete together, let alone share a place on the podium at the end of it. There was a family connection in the other bronze attained by shooting duo David Walton and Robert Watterson, this time in the Olympic trap. Their uncle and nephew, and they told me just what it feels like to be among the medals.
No, never gets boring. It's all a bit of fun, and it's a friendly games for everybody, and it's a bit of fun.
How much is that experience beneficial to you? Do you always draw on it if you're going through possibly a rough patch, or is every competition new and has its own challenges?
Well, listen, Gibraltar's always been challenging. I've been here before, and the targets are lovely range. The targets are the hardest targets you'll ever shoot with the weather, the wind, and catches it and stuff like that. But it's something you've got to learn. If you miss a target, you miss it, and you get on with it. So yeah.
What are you made of the facilities here in Gibraltar this week?
I thought they were brilliant. They were some of the best facilities I've ever been to, and yeah, like I say, it was only thing. The weather played havoc with the targets because it was a nice sunny still day. they'd have been perfect, and there'd have probably been some very big scores put in. So I've quite enjoyed it. Shot quite well on the first day with it. So just hopefully this next end of the week we can carry on with it.
Do you think it has been a bit blustery that's actually been beneficial to the Manx shooters? Because in the Isle of Man we're used to a bit of wind.
I wouldn't say it is, because we're used to a bit of wind and the target's dancing about slightly. When the wind comes, the target is just drops off the edge of the cliff and you just can't see it. It's just gone. So I think it was just on this competition the last few days who could dig in and just focus in longer and harder than the rest of everybody else.
Take us through the mental state that you go through. If you have a bad shot, you come back again to try and regain your form, regain your rhythm. But it's not as easy as it sounds, especially when you've got other shooters around you, and that could possibly upset your mental preparation.
Yeah, well, it's this week, because of the clays, just when certain targets, when you miss it, you've just got to turn around and say to yourself, everybody here would have probably missed that same target. It's just, trying not to say it's just me, and try and keep yourself in a focused mentality. But then when you have about 2 or 3 on the trot, and then you start to think, oh no, I need to pull it back. But that's where, like you said, like experience from David, he pulls them through it. I'm still learning, so I need to just mentally just getting better at it. To know just to, when it's all going wrong, stop, settle yourself, and go back to basics and work from there.
I mean, David is a lot more experienced than you. He looks a lot younger than his actual age. What's it like for you, David, having this young man alongside you?
This young man is my nephew, so trying to teach him a thing or two, but he'll be doing a lot more games than I will. So,
is it enjoyable for you though? A proud moment, sort of giving him the knowledge or passing on that knowledge that you've come to hold over the years?
Yeah, we need more young people coming into the sport. Although the sport's going to disappear, we need a lot more young shooters coming into it, and he's at the start of it.
Well, we've got Robert and Josh both here who have been among the medals. So when people say it's not a fashionable sport, there are still young people getting involved, and there is a new generation coming through.
Oh, there is a new generation coming through, yeah. There's a lot of young people up there. Jersey had young juniors in there shooting for them this week. It was quite good to see.
And I suppose for you and for Josh as well, when you do get medal success at an event such as the Island Games, it only boosts the profile of the sport for you and your peers.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's like, you can bring it back to the island and say this is what we've achieved, and why not come and have a look at it. It's like we've said down here at the Pistol, having a look around, because for us we don't ever see any of this, and it's nice to see the boys who won the bronze and see how they do it, and especially like you say with Josh, when being a junior, only 14, and coming home with a medal. It's brilliant to see, isn't it, that juniors are just as capable as seniors are.
I'm sure you'll go on to have much, much more success in your shooting career, but for now, in your career thus far, where does it rank medaling at an Island Games?
Oh, it's well up there. It's without a doubt, because we don't do a lot of major comps, just because of travel costs and everything. Throughout the year, it takes quite a bit to do it all. So for this, it's been well up there as a highlight.
And David, I know he's a friend of yours. He is keeping tabs on how you're doing all the way back in the Isle of Man. Just a message though for Neil Parsons, who I know is a bit annoyed that he couldn't come out here, but he is following it, and he loves the sport, lives and breathes the sport, and he'll be delighted with how you're doing.
Oh yeah, Neil and myself were shot umpteen Commonwealth Games together, and we shot together. We've been mates for a long time, and Neil would enjoy it out here. He would.
I think he'll be toasting it in the pub tonight, will he?
He'll be toasting it in the pub short, and then when we get back, we've got his wedding to toast it also. We'll celebrate it even more then.
Making the headlines with medal success should only boost the profile of the sport, and I know there are some great clubs on the island too if you do want to join, and no end of people who'll be happy to help you to get started. So if you are interested, then do give it a go. To the Lathbury Sports Complex now, and it's been difficult staving off going to the pool until Wednesday, because every day there seems to be a new personal best time, Island Games record, or some form of medal being added to our tally. Whether it be relay teams or individual performances, it seems a rarity in this day and age that a Manx flag won't be being waved at a medal ceremony. 9 were won tonight, which, combined with the 10 won already in the week, is it any wonder there is such a great mood in the camp? It was interesting actually speaking to one member of the team who said it's difficult getting the swimmers to wind down after a night competing because, especially with the younger members of the team, they're usually high on adrenaline after a victory or a new PB. And that might be true of Olivia Marshall, who's won 2 individual golds and been an important member of the relay teams here in Gibraltar. Perhaps less so, though, for the absolute superstar that is Laura Kinley, who tonight won a remarkable 31st Island Games medal. God knows what she does with them all. If she were wise, she'd probably stuff them in an envelope marked Cash My Gold and buy a mansion in Beverly Hills. But she's far too patriotic for that. Instead, she treasures every single one of them as a memento of what has been and will no doubt continue to be the amazing journey that is her swimming career. I spoke to both Olivia and firstly Laura after yet another stellar night at the pool.
So this is my 5th games now. Every medal is really special to me. I love coming out here and representing the Isle of Man. We have a great team this year. Everyone's performing really well, so yeah, it's really special to get out there, and when you win a medal it makes it even more proud to be from the Isle of Man.
Are there other competitors from the different islands who you've seen at every Island Games you've been at, or is it different people each time?
Yeah, there are definitely. I compete against a few of the girls in British champs and competitions around the UK as well, so I kind of know them quite well and we've become good friends also through this and racing against each other quite a lot.
How have you felt you've performed here in Gibraltar over the course of the week? Obviously there's one more day of competition tomorrow, but you've won quite a few medals already here this week.
Yeah, no, I'm really pleased how this week's gone. I haven't had the best run up, illness and stuff, but I've PB'd, I've swam the best, better than I thought I would do probably, so yeah, really pleased with how this week's been.
So you need to get PB after PB, and a couple of times this week I've been wondering, what do you need to do to be on the top step of that podium? Because it just seems you've given it your all, and for whatever reason you've just missed out on the gold.
Yeah, I mean, in the 50 it was close. Not going to lie, I was a little bit gutted just to miss out, but I mean it was a PB, so can't really complain about that much. So maybe next time.
Moving on to you, Olivia, in the fly, you seem to have come into your own in this Island Games. A couple of gold medals. How has it felt being on the top step of that podium?
It's been amazing. I completely surprised myself with the 100 especially because I've never raced that well. I've always got it wrong. Like the past 7 times I've done it, I've been 106s. And yesterday, was it yesterday, day before? Just 101, banged it out, so yeah.
Why do you think it has gone so well for you this week? Is it just the environment that's been created by the swimming team?
I've had a really good training programme up to here because I haven't been going away as much with my GCSEs, so I've been on island, so I've been getting the most training that I can. And being here with all of the Isle of Man support is absolutely amazing. There's loads of us. It's so loud, it just cheers you on.
What a relief for you then. You're juggling both your academic work and your sporting life as well. So to come here to Gibraltar and win 2 golds must mean that it was worth all the hard work you put in.
Yeah, I think my swimming's gone better than the academic side, but at least one of them's gone well. But yeah, happy.
What has been more pleasing for you? Is it the individual successes that you've had? Has it been the relay? Or has it just been, in general, watching your fellow teammates do so well in the pool?
Yeah, it's definitely a big team event, Island Games. The relays are extra special, especially standing on the podium, singing the national anthem with people you train day in, day out with. Yeah, it makes it extra special when you're up there with them as well. But the whole team really supportive, all get behind each other. So yeah, it's a great group of people we've got here.
We mentioned before the level of success you've had at the Island Games, Laura. Do you have plans to make it to Guernsey in 2 years' time as well?
Possibly, we'll see. Never say never, I'd say.
Keeping tight-lipped there, but this is just the beginning, I would say, for you, Olivia, and we know the success that the Isle of Man has had previously in the fly, obviously with Charlotte Atkinson. I suppose you'll have deep-held ambitions to match the success that she's had over the years.
Yeah, tough act to follow. She's still getting quicker, but, I'm just going to do what I can, and I'm really enjoying it.
Amazingly, neither won gold tonight. Instead, the only gold went the way of Alex Bragazzi. It was his second individual gold of the Games, and it came in the 100 metres medley. It was a pleasure watching him, and he described his emotions fantastically when I caught up with him poolside.
It's been really incredible. It was one of the main events that I was focusing on through the season. It was really special to me, especially the 200 last night. That's been a huge motivator for me over the last 2 years. I was pipped at it in Gotland, and I just sort of dreaming about that race, and it didn't come down to the line. I just sort of smashed it out of the park. New Island Games record, massive PB, and from being ill and just being like, last season was horrendous, and this season we've got back to it, and it's just been, everything has been put towards this week, and this cycle's been incredible, and I have to thank everyone at Loughborough for their support, and these guys this week have been incredible. Lee Holland has been fantastic as always, for the last I don't know how many years. Ruth has kept me in shape, which has been needed because I haven't, some of my parts of my body haven't been able to handle how quick I've been swimming. So I've been really happy, and to come away with 3 medals tonight and feel like it could have been better I'm really happy with that, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow. The rest of the team has been incredible. It's just been a really great atmosphere.
We'll move on to the medals that you secured tonight in a moment, but as you mentioned before, there was so much riding on this Island Games coming into it because you had been a bit unwell. You put in the effort in training. So how nervous are you when you step out here, when your name is read out and you get a big cheer from the people here in the crowd who are supporting the Isle of Man, but you know that this is game time, this is competition, so it all comes down to this. How nervous are you when you stood there?
It's mixed sometimes. I know last night it's always been a big thing in my head because it's been a huge motivator, and I knew how important it was for me. I sort of just put it behind me. I knew my game plan inside out. I knew I had it in the bag. I just needed to stay calm and composed, and I did that. And when you have that kind of confidence, which at times I've been lacking, the nerves kind of fade away. Tonight I was a bit more nervous, and I feel like that was shown in a couple of the races, but I was glad I was able to swim really well still.
Why do you think you were more nervous tonight, having already tasted the competition experience at the Island Games?
Last night was such a big relief, and it was such a weight lifted off my shoulders, and I knew the other races tonight, I knew that I could do really well, and it was a different kind of nerves, I'd say, and I think I handled them pretty well. So yeah, I'm happy, yeah.
Well, I'll say you handled them well. You've got medals around your neck to prove that. Does it spur you on when you see your fellow teammates winning medals, getting there on the podium, and when you're sat here just about to get into the pool, you think, I want some of that?
Oh yeah, it's like, we've been training all together this last week, and when you see some of the guys swim really incredible times, you think, oh, I can do that as well. And it gives you that confidence, and we've been riding on that the last 3 days, and it's just been incredible what the team's done so far.
A gold for you in the 100-metre medley tonight. What did it feel like again for you? Just stood there with the Manx flag draped around your shoulders, the Manx national anthem playing out here at the pool, everyone standing and applauding your achievements.
Just really special. Every time you hear that anthem, it's incredible. And when you're up there for an individual medal, or when you're on a relay, it's incredible. And I know if Lainey had been here, she'd be singing with us, and I just feel like she's with us there up on the podium, and yeah, it's just really incredibly special.
I think it was emotional for many people here because it was talked about of the work that Lainey did for the swimming team over the years, and you've done her rightly proud in this Island Games. Just finally from me, before we got here to Gibraltar, there was a lot of talk of we don't care about the medals, it's all about the PBs, but now you've got the medals around your neck. Is that true?
It certainly helps, yeah. I mean, PB'd in the 100 free. I think there's more in it, and I think we can show that in the 4x1 free tomorrow night. I got 7 medals the last games, and having this many so far I'm really happy. And the whole team's already got golds for everyone. Yeah, you can't say no to a medal.
Alex Brigazzi speaking there after another notable performance. But of course, one man who can't be overlooked is arguably the key figure behind the Isle of Man's stature in the sport. I don't know if Lee Holland creates these guys in a lab or something, but however he does it, it needs to be made a state secret. A couple more golds on the final day of competition tomorrow, and the man should be in line for a knighthood. The quick-witted and always box office Mr. Holland spared a few moments of his time to share his thoughts on how the Island Games as a whole has gone, and also enlighten me as to what it means when you hear people say it's a quick pool. Spoiler alert, no. Water is not just water.
There's nothing new happening here. It's stuff we've drilled and drilled and drilled, and that's all we can ask is that they keep doing what they practice day in, day out. So it's not there's nothing new happening here when we come to race prep. It's just about dialing in those real fine points. And the way the last 2 days have gone, it's just everything just seems to be dialing in. You know, everything seems to be going perfectly, and it's giving them the confidence that they're going in thinking they're going to win.
It's getting a bit ridiculous now, though, isn't it? Because when it comes to the medal ceremonies, it's more of a surprise when we're not on the podium.
Yeah, I think I've sung the Isle of Man national anthem 8 times now, and that's not including the ones where we come, you know, silver and bronze. I've lost count of how many medals we've got. I would literally have to sit down and count them to figure out how many medals we're at, and we're only at the end of day 3. Last games we won 7 medals, 7 gold medals in total. We're at 8 now. And like I say, we've still got another day to come. Some excellent swims, and like I say, they believe that this is their house. You would think this is an Isle of Man home games, apart from the sunshine.
Maybe if you didn't sing the national anthem as much, you'd still have your voice. That might be one of the reasons why you have lost it. We've seen swimmers be successful at Island Games before, and it seems that every Island Games we look at the swimmers for a source, or one of our main sources of medals. What is the reason for that? Why have we produced so many talented swimmers over the years?
I mean, to be honest with you, Chris, they just work really, really hard. The structure, the coaching structure and the performance structure on the Isle of Man is incredible. I couldn't be more. Well, I suppose I feel lucky to have the infrastructure that I have with the volunteer coaches, the volunteer staff. Everything that goes into swimming, from the 9-year-olds right the way through to the senior international guys, is all leading towards this. This doesn't happen by accident. This is made from day one.
We've seen PBs fall left, right and centre this week. It's made me question whether the pool is a metre too short. But on a serious note, how have you found the facilities here? Because there were some concerns before the tournament began.
It'll be lovely when it's finished. I'm sorry, that's a terrible thing for me to say. I think a roof would have helped. It's a little bit windy. It's dependent on the weather. It can really change the way that the swimmers prepare. In the mornings, they're dealing with being really quite cold because there's a real wind that blows through the place because it's an open structure at the moment. Then in the afternoon, they've got some quite hot sunshine happening. So there's a lot of there's very different tactics going into how they prepare for these races. But the pool itself is fantastic, and like I say, I asked the question. I said, "Is this pool long enough? Because they shouldn't be swimming this quick." But you know what? I've measured it, and I'm not gonna argue no more.
What does it mean? I have to say, what does it mean when you say it's a quick pool? Because is water not water?
Water is water, but the colder it is, the closer it is to a solid. So the more buoyant you would be, and the more purchase on the water you can get with your arms and your legs.
That is fascinating. If you're listening to this at home, I had no idea about that. I thought it was just words that people said, but he did really well. So thank you for answering that. I hope you've got some excess baggage on the flight home, because you'll need it with all the medals that you're taking back. Finally, just a word from you about the conduct of all the swimmers in Team Isle of Man, both young and old, those who have been to Island Games before, those who are heading here for the first time this year. How have they behaved? How have they conducted themselves over the past week?
Honestly, this team is beautiful to work with. They are absolute consummate professionals. From the 14 and 15-year-olds we brought for the first games to 5 games veterans, they're together as a team, looking after one another. The young ones are learning how the older ones conduct themselves and plan their day. You know, the whole athlete lifestyle concept is incredible. And like I say, the both the girls and the lads have really knitted together. The team, to work with a team like this is an absolute pleasure.
Liquid gold, fascinating insight there from Lee Holland, and he did mention the facilities, which, just to clarify, in case any Gibraltarian Games officials are listening, most of the coaches and athletes I've spoken to have said the facilities are in good nick and have been brilliant to compete in, but you did cut it a bit fine, didn't you? If all goes to plan, I'll be on the sea taking in the sailing tomorrow evening, have my head kicked in by a few of the judo lads, and have it hit home hard how short I am when I go to the basketball. Now it's time for me to leave you though, because there is a boat in the morning. I'll catch you next time.